Hey everybody, it's Miriam here at Paperwheelz Studio. I thought I'd bring you along today while I make some little scrappy notebooks. I probably said this on other videos, however, I am just inundated with scraps right now. I'm limiting my scrap bins, and if I don't hurry up and use some of them up, they're going to end up in the trash because it's going to get to the point where I won't be able to get around my craft room. So today, what I thought I would do is bring you along while I make some little scrappy notebooks. I have one started here. I'm not sure how I must have gotten it wet, but I really like the effect it gave, where that paper there is a little blurred where it got wet. This was a piece of packaging. If you open it up, you can see that. And all I did was cover the back. And I covered a little bit of the front edge. It was a smaller piece of packaging, very similar to this. And we're going to make some scrappy notebooks. So really all you need, you could use cardstock if you don't have packaging. I haven't saved every single one of these, but a lot of the Tim Holtz packaging, it makes wonderful scrappy little notebooks. And basically what those are, let me trim the top off here. You might be able to see better. And we got to trim these other two pieces down, so we'll have them to use as well here. I should have done it before I started, but you can see how I trim them down this way. I'm only leaving approximately a ½ inch of this up at the top because all I need is enough to fold over and hide my staples. I'm going to staple my papers down in here, and then I'm going to fold this over and glue it down and hide my staples. So if you don't have packaging, you can still do the same thing. You just won't have this piece to fold over. You could create another one out of cardstock, or you could just fold over a piece of cardstock and create it that way if you choose. You could use really anything along this piece here, lace, ribbon, add decorations. I'm not really sure what journals these will go in, so I'm not going to heavily decorate them, but I do need to use up a lot of scraps, y'all. So that's what we're going to try to do here today. These bigger ones, I would not make one that large, so what I'm going to do is simply, first I'm going to cut down the top part. I'm going to cut it down to it's about a ½ inch. Just taking the excess off up here. Lay that piece of cardstock aside. And I'm going to go ahead and guesstimate a length on these. I don't want them super duper long. But probably, let's see how long this piece of packaging is here on my mat. Looks like 7 inches. Each square is an inch. So I'm going to take it down to about 5 inches. So I'm going to take approximately, and I don't measure exactly, y'all, all the time. I just sometimes put it in there and do it. And if it's not enough, I put it back in and do some more. But I will measure my 2 inches today just because I don't want to have to take a lot of time figuring out and getting it where I want it. If it's not exactly 5, I really don't care. I just want to create the basis for my little notebooks. The thing I like about the Tim Holtz packaging when you use it, let's see, width-wise, we're looking at 5 inches, so I'm just going to cut it at 2.5. Right down the middle. Let's do it this way so that I have a solid piece up at the top where I can get that straight. You need to make sure you hold it because these will slip a little when you cut. Alright, so now we have 2 here, and it doesn't matter because that'll be covered up. If it bothers you too much when you're creating, you can cover it with a piece of, both sides with a piece of washi tape. But the other thing I do like about these Tim Holtz packaging, I'm not going to cover this side. I will cover up here and I will cover the back. So I will cover a piece and have it come down over the front when I cover that. But I'm not going to cover the brown part on the front. So let's start with, let's do this one a little different. We'll take the 2 inches off the bottom here. And again, I'll keep those pieces for another tag or small tag or piece of ephemera of some kind. And now that we have it like this, let's do 2.5. I hope everybody's doing well today and able to get in your craft room and do some creating. Kind of been in a funk lately, but I tell you what, you get in the craft room and that kind of changes everything sometimes, doesn't it? I will give myself just a little bit more than a 1/2 inch up here, maybe about 3/4 inches. And I'm doing that because I think if I have a little bit more cardboard above where that hole's punched, it will actually be better. So that's the only reason on these pieces that I'm doing it that way. Alright, so we got 3 bases. Let's do a 4th here, and then we will cover them with something from my scraps, and we'll start putting together some scrappy notebooks. And I like to make something like this. I'll make it in bulk, and then when I'm doing a journal, I can pick something out. If it needs a little embellishment to go in the journal, I'll do that, and then I mean, it's done. There's nothing to it this way. Let's get rid of my extra pieces of cardstock here because they might get in my way as I'm working. Just gonna make myself a little pile over here to the side, and then it'll go in my scrap bin. You know, it's funny how scraps create scraps, huh? But if you're a crafter, that's what happens. So we got 4 of those there. 5 counting the one I already have covered. Get those out of the way over here to the side. Oh, don't run from me, glue. There we go. So I've got 5 here. You also could use regular cardboard. And I just happen to have a piece here, so let's leave this piece of cardboard. It is, let's see, it's 6 inches. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at 6 inches. I'm just going to tear my papers off the top. And I'll show you how you can do it with just even a piece of lace across the top. Oh, that's a piece of cardboard's coming apart. We don't want that. I'm just trying to get the glue off here. However, we can fix it. Tell you what, we're going to do even better. We're going to take that little bit off and where it split on me right there. So it'll be closer to probably 5.5 inches. This cardboard's a little thicker, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to try to fold over the top on that one. I'm just going to leave it as is. Alright, so I'm going to set my paper cutter to the side. Most of these papers, I will more than likely just tear them up. I like the torn edge look, so that's what we're going to do today. So I'm just going to lay a couple of these booklets out so I can sort some papers and give everybody a little paper, and then we can go through and put them together. I also had this packaging here. You could easily do the same with it. I will most likely hold on to this though because I think it also would make a very nice little small journal here. So I'm going to refrain from using that piece for now. So let's lay it to the side. I gotta get a drink here, y'all. It's kind of dry in my craft room today. Alright, I got a piece of digital here. So I'm just going to make myself a stack. And then I'm probably going to go back through. They're all about the same width. Some are a little wider than others. So I'm just going to make a stack of papers that will work. Of course, we know this one's going to work in the one. And it's just a Joy Regardless. It's a Mid-Ohio Valley Purposeful Ministries piece. I don't want that on the bottom, but I don't mind that top bit. So here's what we're going to do. Get my heavy-duty ruler up here. This one's a little thicker. It gives me a little bit more to hold on to when I'm trying to do this kind of stuff. I'm not always good at tearing like this or using a craft knife. So hopefully, we'll turn this around this way though. It's easier for me because I'm right-handed. So we're going to turn everything around here. And let's just lay it down and try to get it. You know what? I'm not even going to worry about being straight, y'all. If it rips crooked, it's a scrappy notebook, right? So let's see if we could, you know, that paper's sliding out from under there. I don't know why. I think it's because of, let's see, maybe I had something under the ruler. If I'm not going to be able to do it with this one, I'll pull out my other metal ruler. There we go. Now, it just doesn't want to hold that for me. So let me grab my other metal ruler here. I believe it's in, I have several, but I know I have one in this drawer here that will work. Alright, we'll put the heavy duty aside. It's good for cutting though, because it has a very nice cutting edge. I'm trying to get better at cutting with my, I have a circular knife. And I don't do very good cutting papers with a craft knife. I'm trying to get better. It's a little easier to get things straighter with this, so that's a good thing. Oh yeah, much better. So we're going to tear up a few of these, and then while I'm here, I might as well take the edge off. Let's take some off of this hotel, or this side. That way we've got the hotel and the Grand Bazaar still there. Oh, that's why it's sliding. I had another piece of paper under it. Shouldn't do that, Miriam. Get rid of those. Alright, so we got 2 pieces now. Let's go ahead and take some off this other side. And most of these scraps that I'm going to get from this project today are small enough that I doubt I keep very many of them, I'll be honest. And I don't feel bad about it because I've used as much of the paper as I can. And many of these little tablets or things are just ones that I picked up. I've been sorting things out from where my mother passed away a year ago, April. And she had all kinds of little papers and things in her desk that, you know, I'm going to take a little off the bottom here too. Give it a torn bottom look. So really all you have to do with a project like this is just start tearing up some papers. You can use little notepads, little digitals. I've even got some pieces of paper sack in this, just book pages, just all kinds of little things. And the good thing is, see how that corner tore off? You don't have to worry about it. It's just scrap. You know, and your notebook's going to be a scrappy notebook. I mean, that's what they're supposed to be. So that's what we're doing. Alright, this is just a digital guess check here. Go ahead and tear some sides off of this. Again, I'm not paying attention to the edges on it. I'm just tearing it more so that it doesn't have the white around this one. I don't want that white bit to show. Probably should have left that staple look, but it also probably would have been too tall for some of these. I don't know. I didn't really measure it much, did I? Let's see if we can get this little tiny bit off here. There we go. It's coming off. I guess I'm getting better at this. I really need my other ruler. I've got a 6-inch that has a thing on the bottom. A gripper strip thing. so it can't, this one's still sliding a little bit, but here's what we can do when that happens. You can fold your paper. If you don't want to use your ruler to help you tear, you can fold it. And really crease it with either your bone folder or your fingernails make great paper creasers. I don't have much of any, but they work great to crease paper. I'm hard on my hands when it comes to crafting and things like that. I look at some of the creators, they have these beautiful nails, and I don't know how they craft and not mess them up, I'll be quite honest. Alright, so we got those there. Let's take these pieces off the end here. And we're just preparing things to put in the little notebooks. I'll use my ruler if I need to, otherwise I'm just going to kind of rip and tear here. Try to control my scrap pile that I'm creating from this. Again, they're just going to be scraps for the trisholi. Usually a good crease, and see how that tore fairly easily. And I will probably just ink maybe the bottom edges of these. I don't know that I'll ink the side edges. I might just do the bottom, and I might not ink any. Some people do, some don't. It's really a personal preference, y'all. And it's that way with anything that you do with junk journals. The beauty of it is everybody can do their own thing. And we're out here to inspire each other and show how we do things, give people ideas. I watch other creators and get ideas. If you haven't watched Crafty by Tony, she put a video up, I think, yesterday on using up your old scrapbook papers, and she's like does amazing job with grunging things up, y'all. It just is absolutely fabulous when she grunges stuff up. And we'll make this just a little skinnier. This piece of white paper that happened to be in my scraps. These are very simple to do in a very good way. If you sell journals, they're great because then it gives the person who receives their journal a bunch of little pieces of paper that they can craft and work with. This piece of paper doesn't want to start tearing on me. Well, if that's the case, I get it started with scissors. Just barely. Just enough. I just gave myself a little teeny tiny snip there. And then I can just come along and tear right down this edge. Yep. Alright. I need to go back to having a pile of bases here. Don't get everything horribly disorganized, Miriam. Put all of my bases in a pile here. And then they will not get mixed up with my paper pile. Okay, here's my paper pile. Got this one. Okay, we're keeping them all about the same width. Again, we might have to tear more off for the skinnier ones, but we could use these with probably this one. Absolutely. And the homemade one that I've already covered, it would probably work with too. So, do a few more that will fit that, and then I'll do a little bit. Let's see, we went about 2.5, so why I didn't think of this a minute ago. We can guesstimate with our mat what 2.5 width would be, and then just tear off the bit that we need. Some of these are scraps from cards that either I received or bits of cards. Cards are, and a box of cards and envelope is like amazing to have for your junk journal, because you can make so many things with cards, which would be your cardstock. And this paper is a little thicker too. It doesn't want to fold for me, so we're just gonna fold it. If it gets crooked, no worries. No worries. I don't mind a little crooked because things are not perfect. That's why they're called junk journals. If they had to be perfect, they would be called scrapbooks, right? Maybe. I don't know. Some people might not like me to say that, but there's so many different ways you can do junk journals. I don't think there are any rules by any means, or if anybody tells you there are rules, they're just pulling your leg, because you just do whatever you want. And it comes out however it comes out. Now this is a little bit heavier, like parchment paper kind, but that's all right. Tearing right down through there for me. So it's going to go there. Let's see what else I have. This is a piece of envelope. Back side of an envelope, I think. I'm just going to cut this sides on this one and then tear it, so I don't have to tear so far. Just approximating what I need here. Hopefully I'm within my 2.5 inch range here. Close. You know what? Let's just fold this piece up to put in the Scrappy book, and then there's a longer piece in there for a longer note or a longer bit. Alright. How cute. Little puppy dogs. Puppy dogs. I don't know why. Well, I do, copyrights and everything, so I do know why, but I just wish I could play music in the background when I'm recording, because I like listening to music. Alright, I do see a receipt down here that I'm not really going to do anything with, so it's going to go in that pile. I also have another digital piece here, and I think this time I'll take it off this side, mainly. Yeah, I like to listen to music when I'm in my craft room. I don't know about you all, but I don't know, just do. Let's see what it would be if I just take it off at, let's see, yep. I'm just going to try to follow my lines, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm doing a quick cut here. These are out of, those old date books, sometimes that have maps in them. That's what these little maps are out of. However, it does add some extra paper that somebody might want to use to create something. Or it's a piece of paper that's in your journal in case you want to write a note on it. Almost all these papers, you could write on them with a black pen without too much problem. And I'm just going to go up through here. So some of the papers will be torn, some will just simply be cut. Top of an envelope flap, but it's just shorten the ends where these corners around it, they just don't look like they could belong here anyway. So I'll cut that, turn around, and do the same thing up here. There we go. This is some of that carbon sewing paper, but it's very old. I doubt that the carbon part would even work. Maybe. We'll leave it folded in on itself, just in the event that it would. Let's see what else I got. It won't require much tearing here. Piece of brown paper. A piece of old music paper. See, these are just left over from other projects. Let's cut the white off the outside of this digital. And we'll go ahead and put one of these together then. All right, a couple pieces of some kind of ledger. Return this statement for correction in case of error. I have no idea what they are. Something from a bank from 1940 something. Got a couple of those. Some plain white paper here. Let's see, are you separate? Yep. Little, all these are a little on the wide side, so let's give them a snippy here. A snip, snip. Take it down to here. Okay. Oh, that was very crooked. A little harder to push those scissors. Let's get rid of some of my cut-offs here. Starting to run out of room. But I'll get rid of them. They'll be all over the floor momentarily. Piece of book page, another random piece of something. A couple note pages from an old calendar. Let's see what else I got in here. Here's a piece of, here is a piece from old Post-it note. Couldn't think of what it was called. I'll throw this in. Let's see what else I got here. A digital. And we'll do maybe one of these note pages here. Ooh, that paper feels really cool. I got a couple sheets of this. It's like super thin, but it has like a cloth almost feeling, and it's just really thin note paper. I'll do a few of these because I think they would be easy to put in there. So we can put one in each one of them, maybe. All right. Got some note pages from an old calendar here. Let's see what else. Let's do a few of these and my digital here, and that will be it. So, these are from 96. A note refill of some kind from 96. So, I think I'm going to take the holes off. That way there will be lines on it, if anybody wants lines on their paper. If you wanted to be real picky, you could take the same amount off of each side, and then you would have the notes in the middle, but I really don't care. See what else I got down through here, just so I can see what else it is. Envelope. Some more random digitals, and there's some paper bag. And some more digitals and some more book page. Grab that book page out of there. And this, okay. A few more papers to tear, and then we'll be ready to go. Ready to roll and put them together. all the papers done first. That's what I need, about half of that, so we'll turn it into 2 pages. I'll lay this aside here. Then we have a nice pile of stuff to use. I must have used part of this for something for it to be folded like it is. I'm not really sure why I had it in here, but it was in my scraps, so fair game for a scrap project. Let's see if we do right there, then we'll have enough for one more piece out of this. We'll get 3 pieces out of it. It won't matter if it's folded there. Take advantage of the fold and tear it in half. Well, that doesn't want to tear like that, so we'll do it like this. Alright, let's give it one more little fold. It's a lot of folding and cutting papers for this project. The actual construction doesn't take very long at all. And hopefully I have enough strength to use my tiny attacher today. Alright. I'm going to lay my papers I'm not using for now off to the side. This piece just looks like it's supposed to be the right width, but it's not, so we're going to lay it to the side. I also had a couple of these tablets under here. These work well also. When you have extra little tablet bits, they were great to make little scrappy notebooks with. Some business name at the bottom. I couldn't tell you where it came from or how I got it in my stash. Probably came in a bag of things I might have picked up at a yard sale. Then I also have here a Sparkle game card. So let's take it off up here so you can still know what it is. And that's going to make it 3 inches. We'll probably tear a piece off the bottom as well. Some of these pieces I told didn't tear when I laid them out here, so we might have to do that when we make our little booklets. We'll just see. Might as well go ahead and do this one because I know it's going to need done. We'll use the ones that are a little bit wider in my little bit wider bases. That'll work for that. Couldn't get that side one. There we go. I didn't want to start tearing for me. Oh. Well, this paper, I think I'm tearing against the grain of the paper, and that makes it harder to tear, I think. There we go. If it were with grain, it would just pop right off there, you know? Alright, so we're going to, we don't need this bit up here. Just get in my way, I think, eventually. Really? Where's my scissors? Snip, snip, you know? Snip. Snip, snip, snip. Okay, we got 2 pieces. I'm gonna put one of these digitals in with this. And how about a notes page and one of these neat fancy feeling pages. You don't have to have a lot in these necessarily. How about a book page? Let's see, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I want to take as little off that one as possible, so let's get something that's already skinny, and we'll put this one on the top for 10. So now I'm just straightening them up. As best as I can. And I'm going to dig down for a base. I've got this one. So we'll use it first. I like this receipt, so you're going to get thrown in here too. Why? Because I like you. Okay. Now, one of these is, oh, the book page is a wee bit wide, I believe. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and staple it. Then we can tear them down if we need to. So let's put them all this way as well. That way if we need to tear down, we'll tear down from the same side. Let's see what is. I don't want to take more. I mean, that's a 1931 page from a 1931 book, so I definitely want to leave that bit on there. So let's turn you this way. No, this way. Yeah. That way I won't lose my date if I tear that off there. Okay. Where are you, tiny houses? There you are. You can do these a couple ways. You can staple your papers together. I don't think I got them all down. Use as many staples as is necessary to hold them. Oh, Miriam, are you going to have problems with stapling today? I'm just pulling it down where I can use my desk to staple it down easier. I'm kind of a little low on the staples, but we can fix that. I want that to cover them, and obviously that's low, so we're going to take some off the top here. Going to get down to about right here. It's a lot for my scissors to cut, but I think it's going to do it. It's quiet in my house today. Very quiet for some reason. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do that. It looks like we need to take a little bit off of the side, so I'm just going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to go ahead and trim with my scissors on the side here, so that can take off the excess that I need to take off. Just the extra ones hanging out here. They just don't want to cooperate, so we'll take them out there. Alright, get rid of all my little bits here again. Making a trash pile over here. And we're going to take this, and we're just simply going to glue that in there. And basically, other than trimming up your bottom pages, your Scrappy notebook is done. And that one even has a pretty little, I think that's a rose, on there to still hanging over a little bit on this side. So we might come back and trim that. Staple went through on both sides. I'm using my Fabri-Tac to glue these in today. And I create a little pen holder because I'm constantly misplacing my glue pens. So just taped a little piece of fabric on there to stick my glue pen in while I'm squirting my glue. And I'm not even going to cover the inside of my little Scrappy thing since it's solid. I don't care that it has staple holes in it. Just want to run glue across the top here to hold it in. And glue on the other side to hold your flap down. What works really well for these is if once you get them glued, you grab a clip or a paper clip and put it on the top just to hold it. That way your half-inch piece won't pop up on you as easily. So putting those in there like that, and just going to press it down in here. I've added a little bit of acetate to my glue so it doesn't stick as quickly. And then we're just going to glue this bit down. So really, as far as construction of these, that's what there is to it. That's all there is to it. Okay. Just grabbing a couple paper clips from my drawer so I have something to hold this down, and we can move on to the next one and see what we're going to do with it. There we go. I put glue under that? I did, didn't I? Yes, I did. Oh boy. Another one of them days where I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago. There we go. Alright, so we'll lay that to the side now. And you can either fold these bits that are hanging over up, or you can come along and like this and trim them, or fold them up and tear them. And my notes page got in there upside down. I'm going to fold the Farkle sheet up. See what the next long one is. It's the note page, and since I put that in there upside down, we're going to tear that one off there. So all I'm doing is kind of, you could even stagger these if you wanted to, but I'm not going to today. I'm just tearing them off here. A line, just to have an idea about where to tear. I don't care what the bottom looks like. This is that really thin paper. I hope it tears as well as it feels like it should, but it could be more like a fabric. I don't know. We'll see here how easy it is to tear. Oh, there we go. Not too bad. But it's not simple, that's for sure. If it's hard to tear, use your scissors. There we go. Guess I just had to get it the right way. And I gotta take a little bit off of the music page. I want to take, oh, looky there, that's got a little bit of a fold in it already. So we'll just take advantage of that. All right, so we got one done. Now let's use our piece of cardboard and we'll put one together with it. Then I can do the rest of them off camera and show you what they look like when I'm finished. Okay, let's put this last one together so you can see how, if you don't have the fold down tops, how you would do it. Again, I'm not going to mess with covering my paper right now. Use some of these little bit wider pieces so I don't have to tear them down. This piece, let's see. I want to leave that part on there. So let's fold it over like this. I think I will tear it off. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. I've got the 1940 part on there. That's mainly what I wanted to keep on here. Okay. You know, my pile of stuff, folks, it just fell off the side of my, onto the floor. Oh well. I'll get it when I'm all done here. This is the piece. Oh, no, I want the folded piece of stuff. This is the folded piece of that stuff. Let's see what else I got here that looks a little wider. A piece of this stuff. And let's use this piece. And I think I'm going to leave that piece. Now let's put the map on top here. Put the map on the top, just to give it some interest. There we go. Another map of the Pacific Ocean, in case you couldn't tell what the first one showed. And then we're going to just simply staple these to the top. Try not to get down this far on this one. Where did my stapler go? I buried it, I'm sure. Yes, I bury everything. And then you're just going to staple these like this. Let's shorten the ones we need to shorten, or trim up the ones we need to trim up. Pieces in there are a little crooked, but we're going to leave it that way, and we're going to tear the little bit of the bottom off here. There's a reason they're called Scrappy. Okay, we want to be above my fold here. If you're not going to tear in the fold, then you must be above it. Alright. Oh, that piece didn't manage to hold this into the staple, so that's fine. Now we have all these. Let's, oh, this one didn't make it either. So let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's alright. We'll leave it at 6. And then I thought maybe I could use a piece of this up here to cover up my staples. Yeah, that's fine. So let's just put down some Fabrifix across here. Left my glue open, so hopefully it will flow readily. Turn it up that way so I don't end up poking myself with my own straight pen. That would be me. Alright, not like that. If I need 2 hands, I can do that. It comes out faster when I sometimes use 2 hands. This is just, it's either the 3-in-1 Beacon Glue or Fabrifix, I believe. It might be my Aleene's fabric glue. I have a couple different ones that I've been using. I just put them in those glue bottles because that makes it easier for me to work with. Everybody use the glue that you like, the glue that's easy for you. You do not have to use. And so you don't really have to do anything over the back. If you wanted to cover it, you certainly could, but it's really not necessary. Especially if you're using, well, I got the scribble on the back there, so. I think also what I'm going to do here, once I get that glued, I'm going to flip this whole thing upside down. And we're going to trim these bits that came over the edge just to make it look a bit neater. Don't know why I feel the need to do this, but I do. And then we'll cover, I wasn't going to, but we'll cover the scribble on the back with this. So we can get rid of that scribble on the back there. I'm sure I have something here that's large enough to cover. Alright, so get that side. Let's come around here and trim this side down to the edge. Not as hard to cut since I only have 6 papers here. Maybe not even all 6 in some places. Just following the card piece. And the bottom. So nobody's hanging over. We don't like those that hang over, do we? At least not in this case. Okay, get rid of you. All these pieces that are extra. Go to my scrap pile here. And then we need something that's going to be big enough, which I have an index page here that I could easily use to put on the back of this. Well, let me see if I have another paper that I've torn that would work well for the back too. I don't think I want to use plain white. Let's see, I don't think I may have mostly whites left. Piece of that parchment, but I've already cut it too skinny, and I got these, and I have these. So I guess it's going to be you, index page. Yep, all the other ones have been cut down to use inside the notebook, so we'll just do this, and we'll just use my glue stick. Let's get rid of, tell you what, we'll put it down so that it's mostly got the writing on it. So I'm just going to cover the back of my tablet. I often glue on my projects. Probably shouldn't do that, so just easier for me. I've ruined a few papers that way, but not that many, and usually what I've ruined was simply a scrap by getting glue all over it. And if you get glue all over a paper and you're not using it to glue down, then you can collage on it. That's a good way to cover up the glue marks when you collage papers over top of them. Alright, I think I got that good. And I'm just simply, let's see which side. Oh, I don't want that side. I want this side. So I'm going to, let's see how far over, to about right there. Okay. We'll just use my line up there to kind of get it straight as best I can. And we're just going to stick it down good. Turn it over. Really pushing that in so that the glue stays. Yoo-hoo is my new favorite glue stick. It's odd to me how they eventually, the more you use them, the more that glue is no longer blue, but it's okay. You can still tell where you put it. Alright. Take this one out. And we actually finished 2 in this video. Let's see here. Okay. Again, I'm just going to use my piece of cardstock. I should cut it from the back side, not to get confused with that brown paper that's stuck right there. If you hold your scissors right up against that cardstock, usually you can cut it fairly easily. The other thing you could do is simply, once you get it glued down, you could fold it back like this. and just tear it if you want a torn edge look with it. Make sure you go to the edge. So really, you can do it both ways. No big deal. Book page tears fairly easily either direction. Yep. And then just got my finger right along the edge there, and I'm holding it with my thumb and just tearing that right down through there. Do the same thing on this side. If any of it comes up along that edge, I can go back and put some more glue down there. Creasing it good. And I'm just going to tear it again. Again, this is where you could cover and fold over if you chose to do that. I covered it after I put my papers in it, so I didn't choose to do that. So I think I need more glue up here, so let's use this to go along the edge up here so I don't miss it. There we go. And I will press that book page in around those staples so it goes down good, and we'll hold that better, I think. Okay. Then we'll fold this back. Try to fold it right up to the edge, Miriam, because you know your glue right there is not dry. Probably best to let your glue dry, but I don't have the patience for that. So if I can do it without letting the glue dry, I just keep moving along. All right, get it started here. It shouldn't, yeah, there we go. Should just tear right along that edge, and it is. All right, so we have one, and this one's probably all glued now. We can take these pieces up. Yep. I must be into green these days. That just happened to be what I had on my desk. So I got 2 of these done. Really not a lot to them. You just make little scrappy notebooks, and then these could go into your journal for use later in the journal, or for little notes, or whatever you might want to use them for. They would be, that one's quite crooked in there, but hey, it's a scrappy notebook, right? Okay, that's what I got for you guys today. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you get your scraps out and make yourself some little scrappy notebooks that can go in your journals. And just have fun and enjoy creating things from your scraps in your craft room. See you guys later. Bye-bye for now.